Hi, my name is Katherine Johnson, and today I'm going to be presenting my author discussion on Afrofuturism. Afrofuturism has been a cultural aesthetic and a developing philosophy for many years, but the name Afrofuturism was created by Mark Derry in 1994 and has stuck ever since then. The term was explored throughout the 1900s and has become a huge part of the strength and power of the African American race. Afrofuturism has been a mid-late 20th century development since before the name was even created. In the late 1900s, scholars studied Afrofuturistic music, art, texts, which started to become more popular later in the century. The first look into Afrofuturistic music became apparent by Sun Ra, a musician born in Alabama that started with the combination of hard hip-hop and Afrocentric titles to bring the two concepts together through music into an Afrofuturism vibe. Later in the 1900s, Mark Berry created an essay titled Black to the Future, which represented an African American science fiction text with music as well as art. He soon after created the name Afrofuturism to better explain his concept as a whole. Futurism has become a large, influential part of our society as well as our generation, without some of us even realizing. Some examples of this would be artists such as Rihanna and Beyonce, not only through their music, but also through their music videos that they produce showing the African American culture being respected as well as looked up to on the influence of others about the powerful society and beliefs behind Afrofuturism. Rihanna and Beyonce are both large, influential music performers that express their passion and love for their race as well as their music. In the music video Wild Thoughts, shown 2 slides above, Rihanna is showing her appreciation for her culture as well as her passion to pave innovative examples and paths for her performers as well as her fans. Beyonce exemplifies through her music and her music video, which is just 1 slide above, called Sweet Dreams. Her passion for women's rights as well as African American rights are shown powerfully through this video. She portrays examples of historical connection through futuristic African American rights. Afrofuturism is represented in many ways in our world today. One example, which is important, is through movies. There have been many movies that have been created to show the culture and future of Afrofuturism, which I will talk about in the next slide. One example of a movie that represents Afrofuturism is the movie called Blade. This movie is about an African American half-mortal man that has a job of protecting the mortal world. This movie very well represents the futurism of African American culture with its modern-day technology and ability to protect the human race. This movie is not as well known as other movies that represent Afrofuturism in our generation due to the fact that it was made in the late 1900s. Although the concept has started to become more and more popular through the new movie, Black Panther. The Black Panther is a very good example of how Afrofuturism is represented and what the meaning behind it is. This movie not only shows us the background of the powerful African American race, which is protecting the world from danger, but also is using new futuristic technology to do so. This movie is child-friendly and can give a look into what the concept means as a whole. We see many examples of Afrofuturism throughout this action-packed movie, such as challenging the traditional representations of the future world and combining it with the African American culture. A quotation written by a movie critic comparing the Afrofuturism Society to the movie Black Panther stated that the artistic movement called Afrofuturism, a decidedly Black creation, is meant to go far beyond the limitations of the white imagination. It isn't just the idea that Black people will exist in the future, will use technology and science, will travel deep into space. It is the idea that we will have won the future. The Intuitionist, being one of the most recent books we have read in our class, represents as well as connects to the meaning behind Afrofuturism. Throughout this novel, our main character is a young African American girl named Leela May, who earns a job at an elevator service and puts her skills at test to prove that she is worthy of the job. She specifically memorizes everyone's initials at her workplace and finds herself feeling underpowered by the inspectors of the elevators. But she soon is able to use her skills to help herself. Afrofuturism starts to become an important part of the novel when we see our main character depict the loss of technology the workplace has that she knows could show them a new future. After each novel we have read throughout this class, we see the characters developing in important ways and start to show more qualities that are shown through Afrofuturism. In conclusion, Afrofuturism has been a part of our world for centuries, representing itself through novels, music, and movies. Although it has changed over the years and generations, it has brought an incredibly influential look into the African American history as well as the future. Throughout the novels that we have read in class, we see in the beginning the fight for African American rights against white supremacy with slavery and the fight to escape, as well as the hardships and torture that come with their history. Each novel that we have read and depicted throughout the semester have shown us a closer and closer look into Afrofuturism, as the characters fight for their equality and experience showing other societies how they can change the future, not only through having their own rights, but also teaching them a new scientific and technological way to have success in the future. The African American race shows us a new look into what a safe and productive, yet artistic and beautiful future should look like through Afrofuturism.